Hey guys, welcome back to another Skyrim mods video. 2025 has been a great year for mods. Like literally a lot of mods have been coming out this year, just back-to-back great mods, with some iffy ones in between it. But in this video I have over 17 amazing mods that I can agree are all pretty amazing. So if you end up finding a mod that you like, make sure to endorse that mod author firstly, and also don't forget to like the video, and maybe subscribe if you're feeling generous today. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Next, a simple approach, but definitely one of the best mods. This mod is called Animated Interactions, SKSE, and by saying SKSE, it doesn't have a plugin. But this mod will allow you to see your character interact and pick up items and place it into your pocket. And what makes this mod better than other animated interactions where you pick up items, because there are quite a few, this one renders items in game at the time of you picking them up, so no patches are really needed. It will always show the icon that is currently there and the model as soon as you put it into your pocket. But what I will say is that this mod is still fairly new, so while it does technically work, there are some small issues that I did run into, just from my opinion to yours. The animations are quick but still immersive, and it doesn't actually lock your person into place, but still fairly worth it. But up next, another fairly new mod. This mod is called HFS Buttocks Rest. This mod replaces the stools inside of bars or inns with two new variants, and it features up to 4K textures if you somehow need 4K rest seats for some reason, but I highly recommend going 1K or 2K unless you plan on putting your face into the seat. And the reason I highly recommend this mod is because it uses base object swapper to add diversity to the stools, so every single inn, every time you load in, will have different seating arrangements. Another mod doing the exact same thing for a different furniture item. This mod is called Diverse Grindstones by Frank Black. This mod, if you already noticed in Skyrim, the grindstones are a little hard to find retextures for, so this mod fixes that for you, using base object swapper to add diversity between the grindstones based on each city. Well, it's not unique to the city, but every single city will have a different looking grindstone, either worn down, thick, or sometimes even just a skinny grindstone. But if you're not impressed by that mod, I highly recommend STB Quick Hotkey Cast. Now instead of having to favorite items and then press their hotkey and then also use the activation button to even cast the power, instead now, just like an MMO, when you press the hotkey you assign to it, it will instead cast the power or shout immediately, allowing for you to perform combos without interruptions. And there's no extra HUD changes or really anything fancy, but it is pretty game changing. Now you just have to make sure you don't make a mistake and cast the shout, targeting the entire village. And by the same mod author, I highly recommend their next mod, which is called STB Quick Craft. If you have a lot of materials left in your inventory and you don't want to keep spam clicking to craft an item, all you have to do now is select and hold the designated hotkey, which is pretty simple to set up. All you do is change it in the INI file, but by default it is Q. The unfortunate part about this is that you cannot quick upgrade all of your equipment. It only works for crafting menus such as the blacksmith or the smelting menu. Up next, the main magic mod that I fell in love with this year. This mod is called Runemaster Magic. This mod by Kitty Tail completely reworks the magic system almost, at least in my opinion, allowing for you to craft new items called runes that both have different uses depending on what type of magic you want to cast. All of the spells have different use and casting methods. Some will be continuous cast and you can use it as long as it is active, or some of them are single time activate, all using runes. So to use this spell, you do have to make sure that your weapon is currently enchanted, and you can definitely tell by the casting animation. But if you want to skip all of that, you could definitely just grab ebony weapons and enchant them one time. Ebony weapons happen to keep the same enchantment. They will just have normal cooldowns like any magic mod. But if you don't use ebony weapons and just want to use regular ones, every time that you press the activate key, which is the same as shouting, it'll just enchant the weapon temporarily, allowing for you to cast one of the powerful spells introduced by this mod. And like I said, all of the spells are very useful. Some providing more damage than others, but all providing some form of damage, while some just mainly focus on one person, causing a lot of damage if you were to fight just a boss. Some of them attacks a lot of people in a certain area. Like, what's really unique about this mod is the fact that it has a bow and arrow enchantment. I think this might be the first time that I've seen this inside of magic mods. Usually it's hand cast or just for weapons. But I guess that's fair. Kitty Tail has kind of been improving lately, or at least they've always been this good. But up next we have a new armor mod, one of my favorites. This mod is called Master Thief Armor, adding in a new unisex armor that works for both Himbo, 3B8, B-Hump, and also if you use it somehow, there's a patch for UBE. And if somehow you didn't notice the color changing, this mod comes with 3 different color variants, and I use 3 different presets just to kind of show that. Even though all color variants work on both male and female, there's no special difference, just all cosmetic. And also one more quick note I want to put out, well, 2 technically. The dagger that you're seeing on the back doesn't come with the armor as a weapon, it is just completely cosmetic. And the HDT physics that you're seeing is also not a part of the armor mod. You have to download that. It is a completely separate mod, and I will link it down in the description with support for the mod author. In the optional files also, if you choose, you can have this armor as a Thieves Guild replacer, which is what I prefer to use considering I went for a more modern clothing replacer. At least in my most recent mod list, I kind of got tired of vanilla armor. Up next, a massive overhaul for a vanilla location. This mod is called Hag, Occult Orphan Rock. Besides the massive tree added to this new location, the first thing that you may notice is that all the trees surrounding the Orphan Rock has been replaced with dead trees that you would normally see somewhere around swamp area. Because I mean, this is supposed to be an evil area, so all the life has been drained. And this place also adds a small little dungeon that you can go inside of and explore. But once you're inside of it, you're not going to be getting out for a little bit because there's 2 hag ravens waiting for you inside, and also quite a bit of skeevers for some reason. But another mod also by the same mod author doing the same thing for a different hag raven location. This mod is called Hag Occult Witchmist Grove. This mod similarly does the same thing with replacing the trees, but mainly you'll notice the new surrounding area being almost completely empty instead of a bunch of forest. And this one is a little bit smaller on the scale of Overhaul because there is no dungeon added to this place, but the surrounding area has been completely changed, so at least now you know that you're walking into a boss fight when you approach this area. Honestly, if you grab one, I highly recommend grabbing the other. There's really no reason not to. It's very conflict free almost. The next mod up is an immersive mod I highly recommend. This mod is called Shouts of Stallholders. Now when you approach Stallholders, or at least you're a little close, you will now hear them shouting new shouts that was generated with AI based on the current NPC's voice. With this mod installed, every market around Skyrim will be a little more lively now, and it's also very immersive, at least in my opinion.
Food supplies fit for a Jarl. Get them before they sell out. Quality merchandise here, at prices you can probably afford. Browse my wares. Goods bought and sold here.
Gems, fine jewelry, crafting supplies, best quality at reasonable prices.
Wrap up warm for the weather. Get yourself some clothing from me.
Make a deal with me, and you won't be disappointed. Satisfaction guaranteed.
This mod just takes the voices of already vanilla Skyrim NPCs or just generic ones and gives new voice lines to the already ones that exist. Most of the time, you won't even notice that these voices are new unless you have this mod installed. Up next, another mod that recently started to grow on me. This mod is called Potables by Skyking. This mod remakes potions and poisons, as you can tell by the title, adding new animated effects to the potions. They're not glowing even though the animated effect inside of the potion is moving, making it look magical. Some of the potions also come with labels just telling you that it is poison or healthy, and they all come with different sizes and different meshes, so it isn't all just copy and paste, which is really what I like about this mod. I also kind of love the fact that it overhauls every single potion inside of Skyrim rather than leaving some alone. Of course, this video wouldn't really make sense if I didn't include this next mod. This mod is called HDT-SMP Vanilla Armors. And although I did just admit I don't really use vanilla armors, this was a mod I had to have because sometimes NPCs still spawn with normal armor. With this mod NPCs, you will now see them having HDT armor. And for a better explanation, their clothing will move with the wind, or at least when they move. For it to move with the wind, you do need a separate mod, which is HDT Wind. That's a completely separate mod, but it's easy to install and I highly recommend it if you want to see the wind blowing everyone's clothes and see the mod in action. And this pretty much works on all vanilla clothing, but like I said, I kind of have a lot of replacers, so I don't really see a lot of them in action, but sometimes when I do, it's amazing. The next 2 mods by one of the best mesh replacer authors. This mod is called Rustic Repose, a common bed replacer. This mod using base object swapper replaces beds that you would normally find inside of dungeons or just destroyed ruins, and also inside of some poor places like maybe Palace of the Kings where the barracks are. And because it uses base object swapper, it pretty much works with all of SOSAM other mods that replace beds. I kind of have all of them installed. I'm not sure where there might be override at, but so far I see every single bed option, so I highly recommend grabbing this one. Like the other furniture mod I highly recommend, Sleipnir beds, an upper class bed replacer. Now this one will replace beds towards the more rich side of Skyrim, as you can guess by the name being upper class beds. So you'll see them in inns, also in Jarl quarters. Both of these mods have different variations for the main bed, which is for 2 people, and also color variation just to add some mix and match. There's also patches for use those blankets if you use that mod like me, but you have to make sure that you have the correct setup, otherwise the people still won't use the beds either way. I honestly recommend all of SOSAM mods, but these are the 2 newest ones, so I highly recommend grabbing it. This next mod I'm still a little surprised about, but it became one of my favorites. This mod is called Immersive Illusion Spells by jesterpeanut, who's usually known for making immersive and quest change mods, but I guess a spell pack is also needed once in a while. This mod adds dozens of new illusion spells to the game that all range in utility from just simply tricking enemies to straight up controlling them, which is something I've never seen before. Like the mod Insight, which is apprentice, it doesn't let you control the NPC, but it does let you get their vision, and it gives you their weaknesses and strengths and pretty much every other stat you can think of. Some of the spells just lets you drain stamina or magicka, whichever one works for you. But the more useful ones like Mirage let you create a clone of yourself that NPCs end up attacking because they can't tell the difference from. And the best part is that it creates 2 of them, so they last quite a while. The stronger version of Mirage lets you create a copy of enemies in a shadow form that actually can damage them instead of it just being a full-on illusion. I guess because you fully break their minds so they believe that they are taking the damage. And as you can see, you can cast multiple at the same time. But the more simple ones, the ones that you will mainly be using in combat, is ones like Tremor, which just makes enemies drop their weapon once you hit them with the spell. It's probably better to cast it before you start fighting. Just like the mod Stumble, honestly I just use that one for fun. It makes NPCs go flying because I use Poise. But like I said, you can go on to full-on controlling NPCs with the spell Mind Control. And the best part about Mind Control is that NPCs don't know you're controlling the NPC. So as soon as you're done attacking, if that NPC gets killed while you're controlling them, no one would know. They also won't magically know where you are. Or you can use on the mod Masquerade, which lets you copy NPCs, or you could turn into one of their allies and just take on an idol. But the main spell that you guys may end up loving is the spell Delirium, which pretty much pacifies all enemies around you, but unlike other spells, they start dancing. Taking a step away from the massive overhauls, we have a simple one. This mod is called Lush Dragonsreach Pool. This mod, if you have a green tundra or just a green white run or overgrown one, will make it so that the bridge and pools walking up to Dragonsreach will have a new lush overhaul. And of course, like I said, you have to have a green white run if you want to use this. I mean, it does use whatever texture you're currently using, so it should look okay either way, but it wouldn't make sense to have so much of this if you have a dead tundra. Nonetheless, I think you'll enjoy this mod. The next mod up is the audio mod by the name Dragon Voice Word Walls. When you approach a word wall with the new shout to learn, it will now whisper dragon audio to you. Of course, I can't really translate that because I have no idea what it's saying, but as you can see, it is in dragon language. I'm pretty sure there is a way to translate it because people have been working on that. But now this mod makes it immersive now when you approach word walls. Instead of Nords yelling at you, now you have dragons teaching you the words, at least making it a little more immersive. Up next, a mod overhauling a Tween Menu inside of Skyrim, which has been definitely needing an overhaul. This mod is called Tween Menu Overhaul by JP Steele, who just started dabbling in HUD mods. But this mod overhauls the Tween Menu, as you can see, adding a version that is added to the bottom of your screen, and it also comes with tons of patches so you can add different mods to it like bestiary or custom skills. But the main version and the default version just overhauls the Tween Menu, making it look like a more modern vanilla Skyrim. And that was pretty much it for today, guys. I kind of wanted to make this one longer, but I definitely ran out of time, especially with the time being for this video coming out being my birthday on the 10th. But I do hope you all enjoyed, or at least found a mod that you liked. Without further ado, peace and love, guys.